The smell of burning cedar marks the end of Carthage in 146 BC, signaling a destruction that is absolute and finalized. Roman legionaries breached the Bursa citadel, stepping over rubble to seize the true currency of their conquest. For the captured women after the Roman victory, the horrifying reality is not just death, but a calculated administrative eraser. Soldiers drag a noblewoman from the temple steps. Her screams were drowned by the collapse of burning roofs. Her veil is torn, not by accident, but by protocol. In the ash lies a shattered clay loom weight, the motif of a domestic life now severed. This object once anchored her world. Now she is unanchored from history itself. Two questions rise from the smoke. Why did the Roman Senate demand not just political submission, but the systematic biological erasure of this specific lineage? And what irreversible cost is paid when a free name is scraped away to make room for a price tag? Silence is not safety. It is the first step of ownership. If you enjoy these dark histories, leave a like and subscribe, and comment below where you're listening from. And now, back to the story. The triumph of the battlefield fades into the logistical grinding of the Roman machine. The women are not marched as prisoners of war, but herded as livestock towards the port of Dos, the empire's great sorting house. The heat is oppressive, baking the dust into their skin until individual features blur into a singular gray mass of property. Amango, the slave dealer, moves down the line with a wax tablet, scratching figures that erase histories. He does not ask names. He assigns values based on age, teeth, and reproductive viability. The first rule shifts. Silence is enforced, not by whips, but by the withholding of water. To speak is to dehydrate. On the docks, the transformation becomes bureaucratic and absolute. A scribe dips a brush into white gypsum chalk. He marks the feet of the women, a legal signal to buyers that this merchandise comes from across the sea. This mark absolves the seller of warranties regarding local diseases or temperament. The chalk dries tight on their skin, a white shackle more binding than the iron on their wrists. Around their necks, a titleless placard is hung listing skills and defects. One woman, clutching the memory of the loom weight in a closed fist, refuses to look at the ledger. She stares at the horizon, a small static rebellion against the ink drying on the page next to her new designation. Your name is the first thing they sell. The dealer offers a strange mercy, a clean tunic and oil for their skin. It feels like kindness, but the price is immediate exposure. The oil is not for comfort. It is to make the merchandise glisten under the torchlight of the auction block. They are being prepped to be inspected, touched, and assessed by strangers who see only utility. The mercy is merely polish on a tool, increasing the profit margin for the state. The ramp to the ship rises. The option to turn back vanishes. Down in the hold, the air grows thin, smelling of brine and unwashed bodies. The women are packed tight, breath against breath. The ship pushes off, severing the last physical thread to the soil of their birth. The ledger is closed on the deck above. Below, they are no longer Carthaginians. They are assets in transit. Hope dies when the ledger snaps shut. Act 4. The trial test of faith. The destination is not a dungeon, but the pristine geometric hell of a Roman domus. For the captured women after the Roman victory, the battlefield was simple compared to the atrium. Here, the condition is stated with terrifying clarity. Become a functioning component of the household, or be discarded to the mines where life is measured in weeks. The Donna of the house points to the floor, her voice devoid of malice, purely instructional. Here, you are not a mother. You are hands. You are knees, nothing else. The first change beat arrives with the morning bell. The sun rises over the Tiber, but inside, time is regulated strictly by the demands of the master. Sleep is a theft of labor. Food is fuel, not sustenance. The woman, once noble, is given a rough tunic of undyed wool. She is told to scrub the mosaic floor, a depiction of the very battle where her city fell. She must polish the image of her own defeat until the tiles shine like jewels. Every circular motion of the brush is a forced physical agreement with the victor's history. Memory is a poison you must swallow daily. The pressure escalates from labor to eraser. It is not enough to work. She must disappear while remaining present. She serves wine to guests who discuss the Carthaginian problem while she stands within arm's reach. They do not lower their voices because she is furniture. A guest bumps her arm, spilling a drop of Fernian wine on the cedar table. The room goes silent. This is the change beat of deprivation. She expects a blow, but receives something worse. Total indifference. The master signals and she is removed from the room, not as a person being punished, but as a defective object being stored away. In the cold quiet of the slave quarters, the true trial begins. A fellow slave born into this servitude whispers that she should weep. Begging is showing she is broken, so the masters feel secure. This is the mercy offered. Submit your soul, and your body might be spared the lash. She stands by the narrow slit of a window. Her hand hovers over the stone sill. A single hesitation. She could jump. She could scream. Instead, she slowly lowers her eyes, withdrawing the hand. The dominus enters later, holding a ledger. He demands she acknowledge her new name. Great Sina, a generic tag that erases her origin entirely. He asks if she understands her place, waiting for the tearful submission that validates his power. She looks at the stone floor, the only thing that hasn't lied to her. She delivers the cold refusal not of the task, but of the emotional surrender they crave. The stone does not ask whose feet walk upon it. It is a deflection devoid of emotion, offering him nothing to feed on. The why becomes paralyzingly clear. Rome did not drag these women across the sea just for labor. Slaves are cheap. They did it to domesticate the chaos of war, to take the wild, dangerous other and force it to pour wine. The price of survival is the acceptance that your past is a myth. But here lies the inversion. The silence they enforce to break her becomes her armor. By becoming nobody, she becomes the invisible witness. They speak secrets in front of her, political betrayals, debts, and illicit affairs, because they believe they have hollowed her out. They have not. They have merely built a vault. A ghost sees everything, but can be touched by nothing. Act 5. Rebirth. The hidden truth. Decades dissolve into the rhythm of the household. The noblewoman is gone, replaced by the nutri, the wet nurse. Her hair is gray, dusted with a flower of the atrium, but her hands remain steady. In the dead of night, while the dominus sleeps, the sleep of the victorious, she moves to the garden peristyle. Here, beneath the roots of a laurel tree, the very symbol of Roman triumph, she performs a rite of quiet sabotage. She kneels in the dirt, her joints popping like dry twigs. From her sash, she produces a small, rough object, a clay loom weight fashioned in secret from a broken roof tile. It is a crude replica of the one lost in the ashes of 146 BC. She does not pray to Jupiter. She presses the clay deep into the Roman soil, burying her history within the foundation of her captor's home. It is a physical claim. The house stands on Roman stone, but it rests on Carthaginian memory. The roots drink from the past you tried to burn. The change beat strikes with the cry of an infant. The master's son, the heir to this Roman lineage, wakes in his cradle. The woman lifts him. She does not call for the mother, who is busy with the social games of the Senate wives. She unlaces her tunic. As the child feeds, she begins to hum. It is not a Latin melody. 'Tis a Punic lullaby, a song about the sea and the Tyrian purple trade, rhythmically tapped out on the child's spine. Modern excavations in Roman cemeteries often reveal a confusing anomaly. Humble steles dedicated to nutresses, nurses paid for by wealthy Roman men. These inscriptions, carved into the Corpus Inscriptionum Latinarum, often bear foreign names or epitaphs of intense familial love. This is the cautious evidence that betrays the official narrative. Here lies the contradiction to the fear of Act 1. We assume the irreversible cost was the extinction of the conquered people, but the hidden truth is far more subversive. Rome did not erase these women, it entrusted them with its future. The biological erasure was a myth. The reality was infiltration. The Roman child grows strong on milk produced by the grief of a destroyed city. He learns his first words, his first fears, and his first comforts from the woman his father bought his cattle from. The empire believes it has devoured the world. But in the nursery, the world is rewriting the empire. The conqueror's bloodline continues. But the soul of the next generation is being shaped by the very enemy they thought they buried. Victory is just a slow form of contamination. The ledger is finally balanced at zero. In the household records, the entry for Great Sina simply stops. There is no grand funeral, no eulogy in the forum. Her body is carried out the back gate, the service entrance, wrapped in the same cheap linen she scrubbed for 40 years. She is burned on a communal pyre outside the Escaline gate, her smoke mingling with that of thieves, beggars, and broken chairs. The ash is indistinguishable from the dust of the road. The Dominus does not mourn. He simply orders a replacement from the market. Younger, stronger, unmarked by the chalk. The space she occupied in the slave quarters is filled before her pee is cold. The mosaic floor she polished reflects the face of a new girl, terrified and silent. The wheel turns, grinding down a fresh generation. But in the atrium, an echo lingers. The heir of the house, now a senator in his own right, stands before a map of the Mediterranean. He traces the coast of Africa with a thumb that moves in the rhythm of a song he cannot quite remember. When he speaks in the Senate, arguing for mercy or trade, his cadence holds a phantom lilt, a stress on the wrong syllable, and a pause where a Roman would rush. It is the ghost of a Punic accent planted in his ear before he could speak Latin. The loom weight remains buried beneath the laurel tree in the garden. The roots have wrapped around it, slowly crushing the clay and absorbing its minerals. The tree grows taller, casting a shadow over the house that feels colder than it should. The opening prophecy of Act 1 warned of identity erased and lineage broken. The erasure happened, but it was not clean. The irreversible cost was not the end of the Carthaginian woman, but the haunting of the Roman man. The conqueror believes he stands on solid ground, unaware that the very foundation of his home is built on the secrets of those he enslaved. He is a stranger in his own history, guided by a voice that no longer has a mouth. Subscribe, hit the bell, and like. Oblivion is the only empire that never falls.